Top of the middle of the day to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to do a little taste test comparison. It's still winter. We're in early March. It snowed actually a couple inches overnight, but it warmed up. We're like balmy mid-40s right now. It's kind of unbelievable actually. But anyway, I digress about the weather. I'm pleased that we're getting close to spring anyway. Today, for your viewing pleasure, we're going to take a look at a bone stock 395. I ran that thing through a couple of heat cycles, tuned it to about 12.5, which is the factory recommended number. We have a 3-foot Oregon lightweight bar, some of my old clapped out falling chain. I think we looked at the stops on that in this process a couple of times already. I think they're if I remember correctly, around 40 to mid 40-ish, kind of in that ballpark. I adjusted my grind a little bit to kind of deal with this kind of wood, and I noticed it was pretty aggressive actually. It gave that little 572 XP a run for its money, so kind of getting the chain close to dialed in, I guess, at this point. On the right, we're going to run it against a Psy-Ko S version zip kit with the torque tweak added into the mix. 395, also only a couple heat cycles. So as far as that goes, the cylinder assemblies are about as close to exactly the same amount of time on them as you could ever get. A little bit more time on the bottom end on this saw, but not a whole lot. As you can see, it's pretty cherry still. We won't spin that saw up too much since I haven't actually done too much with it at this point. We'll probably run it around that 13 range or something. We'll hear that the stock saw doesn't sound very good in stock condition, and we'll hear that this one over here actually sounds pretty decent. So I guess we're going to do the bar change off camera. I want to be able to take a look at these saws idling on a piece of wood and see what the difference is, even though they're both spring mounted. I'm kind of curious on a personal level. And we're going to be checking out Husqvarna's latest and greatest tachometer, which is this situation right here. It's a PET-302R, it looks like to me right there. It reads these ignitions nicely. It actually does a nice job on the 500i. It does not do a good job on a couple of the Husqvarna saws that I've, well, one in particular that I've really like scoped it out on, but we won't mention what that is at this point. We'll be viewing that at some stage later. But anyway, I'm flying solo. We're only going to be able to like check out what's going on with the upper RPM limit, unfortunately. So that's the way that goes. we're kind of pulling chunks. So, and we can see that the stock saw was kind of waffling a little bit with the chain. That's partially the spring mount. If you put a little pressure on the handlebars and kind of smooth that out, but we're definitely pulling some chunks with that chain, giving that saw a little bit of a run for its money. Now we're going to go ahead and swap the bar and chain out and like take a look at them idling just to see for kicks, I guess. Warmed up and ready to go, but then I started thinking about the concept of running this thing at a higher RPM, and I guess if we want to get an actual real world fair comparison, we're going to run it at about the same RPMs, at least as close as this mere mortal can get. So we'll check it out around 12.5 or something like that. I can hear this thing blubbering. It's bad at high idle. I guess that's just the way it goes. We'll notice how quick it gets up to high idle. I think it's going to be noticeably quicker than the stock saw. It's got a completely different sound now. I've weighed both of them with a full tank of fuel and oil. I've come up with some different numbers on my less than accurate, let's say, weights and measures accurate anyway, hand-me-down bathroom scales. I came out with 21 point even today. I've seen as high as 21.6. I weighed it a few times, somewhere around 21. It was coming in flat, 21, 21.2. Again, both these saws are new enough that it shouldn't really matter. This one doesn't have enough buildup to make any kind of a weight differential on my scales anyway. So I thought I'd better throw that out there. They're kind of a little bit on the heavy side, but they have decent power when you do some stuff to them anyway. I'm gonna have to take a wide cut because my little support system, I was pulling it apart and I broke one of the long threaded attachment devices, aka 5-inch deck screw, in the log, and so I'm gonna have to go past it so I don't completely obliterate this chain, since it's actually doing pretty good at this point. we kind of had a little bit of a change with the log itself. You can see in the center, I was pulling for about all I was worth coming up with that saw. You can see as I came out of the cut, it was a lot of pressure coming up. I'm going with multiple seconds faster going up and down. And the thing barely runs. You can hear the thing missing. It's not even running close to where it needs to be. Another 1,000 to 1,500 RPMs would be kind of in that sweet spot, I would imagine, for that saw. The torque tweak saws seem to like that mid-13s to 14 number. Some of them, the bigger one, like the 084, and they like this around 13. So we're not spinning that thing up anywhere near where it needs to be, and I think it's given the stock saw grief on a personal level. So I guess that kind of talks about some potential, if you will. Thing comes right alive. I'm super well pleased. With any luck, the owner will be well pleased. Long story short, had a little bit of a glitch on the other side of the equation. Had to kind of do a little redo on it, if you will. I'm not going to go any further than that. But in this life, we all know stuff happens. So yeah, it was a little bit of a problem for the guy, but I think he's got it figured out on his end now. Sent him a torque tweak Psy-Ko S 461 that he loves. So anyway, kind of digress. Check the description. Timed runs will be in there. I'll scrutinize this process heavily to get to that point, and then we will be able to verify if I'm even on base, thinking we're multiple seconds faster going both directions. You cannot tell what that thing feels like in the wood, however, which is unfortunate. Anyway, thanks for watching this session. Have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.